start of this is a shot of the ceiling with my water bottle at the corner. Didn't mean that anyway. Wanted to go over a story, well, two stories that are just the disparity in how these were reported and also how they were treated, these individuals were treated. So the Courier Journal, which is the newspaper that's in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm familiar with this newspaper because I used to live in Louisville and also around that area. But reported recently that Quintez Brown, age 21, was alleged to have opened fire at close range on Craig Greenberg. Now, what at his campaign office? Now, Greenberg is working for or working towards being elected as mayor, and apparently Quintez not a very good shot because he missed, thankfully. Now, why is his name important? Well, Quintez Brown got a chance to meet apparently former President Barack Obama. He was big in Black Lives Matter, and he was big in part because of his so-called efforts against gun violence. So here's a man who goes into a guy's campaign office, tries to kill him with a gun, and he's supposedly a gun rights advocate. So he's just attempted murder, okay? Murder. Now, when somebody does that, you would think that because they've already proven themselves dangerous, they've proven themselves willing to kill somebody, that we would keep them from getting back on the street. But bail was set. It says, and this is from what channel? WKYT in Kentucky. Whoops. Oops. I started playing it. So anyway, the Kentucky's bail system is coming under fire after a man charged with the attempted murder of Craig Greenberg, a candidate for mayor in Louisville, was released on $100,000 cash bond. So $100,000, and they let a guy who is willing to commit murder back on the street. So now let's listen to this. Quintez Brown was released on Wednesday evening after a bond was posted by Louisville Community Bail Fund. Now, you could stop it there, as some reports have stopped it, but let me continue because this is important. An arm of Black Lives Matter Louisville says he's now under house arrest. Okay, he's a criminal. If he wants to get out, do you think he's going to find a way to get out of that house on house arrest? So anyway, and Craig Greenberg, this guy who tried to kill, said his team and family had been traumatized again by this news. No kidding. Somebody tries to kill you and they're out. Adding, if someone is struggling with mental illness and is in custody, they should be evaluated and treated in custody. So they're saying the guy has mental illness. But anyway, Black Lives Matter, totally complicit in trying to get this guy out. Now, here's another story. Um, this is from Ottawa in Ontario. Now, given this is a different country, okay, so they're going to have different rules, but Canada is supposedly a democracy like we are. Police in Canada say they have arrested at least 70 people and made progress in clearing out truckers who have paralyzed Ottawa for 3 weeks in a protest against the country's COVID-19 restrictions. And so they've arrested a lot of people, including some of the leaders of the protests that are going on up there with the truckers. Do you think those people are going to be able to be let out? Do you think they're going to have the same level of freedom given to them as this attempted murderer, Quintez Brown? Here's another thing, another story. This is from, what's the site? This is a blog, but this is a confirmed story. This is Bloomberg. Bloomberg. A leak site says it has received a cache of information, including about donors to the Ottawa Truckers Freedom Convoy protest. after fundraising site Give Send Go was targeted by hackers overnight. Anyway, it's a kind of a long article. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically what they did was they created a data dump. They directed Give Send Go's website attempted users to their site, which said, "Did you know that Give Send Go is sending money to the Freedom Convoy?" And they also provided information to some news sources. They said that they said that this is called distributed denial of secret. Said that the data would only be provided to researchers and journalists. Well, you know what some of those journalists happen to do? They doxed these individuals. And a lot of these individuals were people that gave, under $100. Some of them did give more than $100 towards these truckers, but a lot of them were under $100 donations. One lady, she has her own, I think it was like a restaurant, small restaurant in Ottawa. She had given like $200 to the Freedom Convoy. She was doxxed. She had people calling her shop, threatening her employees, telling them they were going to throw bricks through the windows, etc. And so you've got all these people whose information has been made public because they dared to support a little bit the Freedom Convoy, which has been peaceful. The only arrests have been for those who are organizing. There's been nobody's been arrested for just blocking a road. People on the ground have been reporting, look, the truckers are asked to leave. They do move if the police come. Of course, we've also got reports that the police have been coming and taking the truckers' gas, taking their supplies. Now there's a report today that the truckers, if they have pets, the police can come around and take those pets and then put them in, pound. And if the trucker can't, I forget what it's like a fine. If they can't pay within 8 days, then tough. And you know what happens with excess animals? They get disposed of. So where's PETA? Where's PETA in support of the Truckers Convoy? So why am I relating these stories? Who's doxing the Black Lives Matter individuals who have donated to let this murderer back on the street? And I know he's suspected murderer, all right? But there's eyewitnesses to him showing up. They've got very credible evidence. This guy's dangerous, and he should not be on the street. And all these Black Lives Matter supporters have donated to allow this murderer back on the street. Where are the doxers of that group? Oh, that's right. Conservatives don't operate that way. We just don't. If you want to frequent a business, if you want to support a cause, that's your decision. Live and let live. But that's not how the left treats those on the right, those that are conservative. No, they're willing to try to destroy their lives utterly for the sake of forwarding their cause. There is a reason they're called progressives. They're moving forward, right? And they don't care who they run over in the process. They're going to bulldozer right over everybody that gets in their way. And it doesn't matter if they destroy them utterly. Make sure their business is closed, make sure they're without jobs, and it is frankly sickening. As one podcaster I was listening to today actually was pointing out, is why not dox them? Sounds like a good idea to me. Not promoting, evil, not promoting that violence should be done with them, towards them. No threatening phone calls, no, no threatening their family like some of these individuals have done. No, just letting the public know, look, so and so gave $1,000 to Black Lives Matter, and they've made sure that this individual's out. Better yet, let's dox the doxers. These individuals that think it's so important for all this information just be put out on the web and say, there you go. Just go ahead, just destroy this person's life. Why don't we dox the doxers? What about this? What was the name of the company? Distributed Denial of Secrets. I wonder who these people are. A site known for hosting sets of leaked data involving far-right groups. You know what I've found about so-called far-right groups? Generally, they're not dangerous. These people, they often turn far-right. So, for example, I'll give you an example of one guy. He's not a group, but he's an individual, and he's said to be a far right extremist. Stefan Molyneux. So he is a self-described philosopher. He's had some. He's done podcasts for a while. He had. It's called Freedom Domain. You can find him on Rumble. Interesting guy. He does hold some views I'm not keen on. He is an atheist. He is very much a rationalist. I think he calls himself an anarchist. And I forget. He's got some anarchy mindset to him. But anyway, he's pointed out that, for example, what got him labeled as far right was he he's pointed out some differences in standardized testing amongst he would call them race groups. I'm not one who believes in races because the Bible doesn't distinguish us based on the color of our skin, but we from different areas of the world. So he was pointing out that there are differences in test scores related to whatever ethnicity you have. And so he started being labeled as a racist and a far right extremist. And this was about the time I got tired of seeing that label. And I would just assume, okay, maybe they know something about that person that I don't. So what do? Whenever I see the news media portray somebody as a far right extremist, I go and I listen to them, and I make sure that what they're saying is accurate and true. Are they an evil, misogynist, racist, homophobe, etc., or are they just really playing up stuff that's not there? And what I found about Stefan Molyneux is that he's had some discussions with black individuals, a very caring attitude towards each other on some of his podcasts. Um, so I didn't see the racist label really applying there. And he's pointing out he was just saying data. So anyway, long story short, I never believe them when they say far right groups. So distributed denial of secrets, should we dox them? Uh, which gets to a little bit of a biblical lesson. And I'm going to base that off Proverbs 20, verse 23, which I've mentioned before. This is the New International Version. The Lord detests differing weights and dishonest scales. Do not please him. And for those of you that are King James only, divers weights are an abomination unto the Lord, and a false balance is not good. I like that. That's more strongly said than the NIV. Um, so anyway, we're seeing a gross uh, difference in how people are approaching these situations. You know that these same news sources would never out individuals that promoted the release of this murderer, Quintez Brown. I'm sorry, suspected murderer. We would never see that. We'd never see that kind of treatment towards them. And yet, it's okay to dock somebody that gave $50 for truckers so they can get food and shelter and stay warm and get fuel while they're protesting the total takeover by the government in Canada of fascist dictators. That's supposedly okay. The Lord hates that. I can say unequivocally, the Lord hates that. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say today. Just really, we can let everything that's going on in the world disturb us, or we can do something about it. And I'm thinking about what can I do about stuff like this. Not exactly sure, but we'll see. Oh, and one last thing. Next Tuesday, the 22nd of February, from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be doing, if I have attendees, my full 2-hour course on the practical ethics involved with medical mandates, and I will be on for a half hour extra from 9 to 9:30 Eastern Standard Time for people that have questions or want to just discuss things. Anyway, John Adamson with